Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Tuesday morning, September 16th. Welcome into Fitz The Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside right here live from the Ortho, Virginia studios in the capital of the Commonwealth. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us. 1061, the ESPN Richmond app, espnrichmond.com. All are ways you can listen. And of course, you can watch as well on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch live and be part of the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Each one of those goes a long way, and we do greatly appreciate it, just like how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are very much appreciating this Baker Mayfield renaissance that has been on full display the last 3 seasons, and last night was kind of the cherry on top of it. It felt like an emphatic way in prime time to kind of remind the whole NFL world that has fallen asleep on Baker a little bit, that he's certainly a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. And as long as he's the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at this point, it kind of shows you can't bet against them. They're going to win the NFC South. They're going to be a force in the playoffs, and they are going to make a lot of noise throughout the regular season, despite us counting them out every single year. The Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield are one and the same. They've been counted out a lot, and they always seem to bounce back and just outperform the expectations. It's year 3 now in Tampa, but last night felt like one of the first times he made a real statement in prime time with that Bucs jersey on. The playoff game he had against the Eagles, sure, but that was year 1. It was still kind of a flash in the pan. Last night felt like it was a emphatic way to say, I'm here, Tampa's my team, and we are the force. We stop betting against us in the NFC South. Stop preying on our demise before that demise happens. He went 25 of 38 last night, 215, 2 touchdowns, 33 yards on 3 scrambles. But the kicker to the game was the fact that he led that game-winning drive, 11 plays, 80 yards. Rachaad White had a 2-yard touchdown run to cap it all off with 6 seconds left. Tampa ended up rallying past the Houston Texans 20-19 as there were 2 touchdowns scored in about the final 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the game. And just kind of rewind to 3 years ago where he was traded from the Browns to the Panthers, then was unceremoniously with Carolina made the scout team safety, the scout team defensive end, and then in the dead of night was shipped over to Los Angeles, over to the West Coast, where on the plane ride over, he was dissecting the game plan, dissecting the playbook, ended up wearing the number 17 and led them to another game-winning drive, another win for the Rams back in 2022. And when you put on the number 17, just feels like dead man walking with a foot out of the league already. 17 just unbecoming of a quarterback. But the Bucs gave him that last opportunity, and since then Baker has made the most of it. He's 7th in the NFL in adjusted EPA per play. He's 11th in the NFL in success rate, and he's helped the Buccaneers win the NFC South the last 2 seasons. From being cast aside unceremoniously, the Browns kicked him to the curb the second they could because of an injury. It wasn't even because poor play. He had poor play because of his injury. They kicked him to the side. They went out. They traded for Deshaun Watson. They gave him a historic contract that has blown up in their face. It's the Baker Mayfield curse. And since then, Baker jumped around a little bit, but now he has found his home in Tampa as the back-to-back NFC South champions. And now, in 2025, he started it off with 2 straight game-winning drives, and I think he has solidified himself as a top quarterback in the National Football League. The renaissance has been great to watch for Baker Mayfield, and it feels like the Bucs and Baker are a very good match, and the Bucs are getting the most out of Baker Mayfield. Like that connection feels right. Baker Mayfield's play feels good, and Tampa 2-0 and probably the prohibitive favorites now to win the NFC South for the 3rd straight year, because I don't think the Falcons are going to give them really any issues, and everyone else in the NFC South, you can't count on them. The Saints, you really think the Saints are going to do it? The Saints? But it was a great win last night, 2019 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Houston Texans, and Baker Mayfield gets that game-winning drive in prime time. All right, let's update you with what else you may have missed in the wide world of sports overnight with our sports update.
This is your Fitz the Bill morning update. Getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, so last night we had one of those early season Monday night football doubleheaders. The Bucs, that last-minute game-winning drive to pull out the 2019 win over the Texans. And in the late game, 10 p.m. kick, the Chargers beat up on the Raiders, intercepted Geno Smith 3 times en route to a 20-9 win. Tom Brady yesterday announced he's coming out of retirement in a way. He'll play in the Fanatics Flag Football Classic in Saudi Arabia in March. Other current NFL and past NFL players, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Sauce Gardner, Myles Garrett, Brock Bowers, Max Crosby, Tyreek Hill, OBJ, and Rob Gronkowski all set to play in the Fanatics Flag Football Classic as well. In injury news around the NFL, J.J. McCarthy, he has a high ankle sprain he suffered in that Week 2 loss. He could miss 2 to 4 weeks for Minnesota. In Washington, quarterback Jaden Daniels suffered a left knee injury last Thursday in that Green Bay Packers loss, leaving his status for Sunday's game against the Raiders in doubt. Coach Dan Quinn confirmed that Monday. In boxing news, the Canelo Alvarez-Terrence Crawford fight had 41 million viewers. Now, it's not the most watched fight on Netflix. That was the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. But for a quote-unquote real boxing match, that is by far the most viewers of the 21st century. In college football, Texas quarterback Arch Manning had a simple message. There will be better days ahead of him. He said, quote, I know the type of player that I am. I know I'm going to play better, and we're going to be better as an offense. It's been tough sledding to start for Arch Manning down there at Texas. In MLB, the Phillies clinched the NL East with a 6-5 win over the Dodgers. This is what it sounded like.
The pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to first. This should do it. Harper's got it. He'll take it to the bag. And for the second consecutive season, the Philadelphia Phillies are the National League East champions. They win it in extra innings. They knock off the Dodgers by a final score of 6-5. It is their 13th National League East title. Here's the pitch.
It's the earliest the Phillies have ever clinched the division, now with just about 2 weeks left to play. Other scores around MLB, the Braves beat up on the Nationals 11-3. The Orioles won 4-1 over the White Sox, and the Twins blanked the Yankees 7-0. That's what you may have missed in the wide world of sports. I'm very excited. Lake Lewis will be joining us in studio here in just a little bit. I'm very excited, Alan, to talk to him about the Jaden Daniels injury, which could potentially sideline him against the Raiders this Sunday, to get his insights, to get what his thoughts are on Jaden Daniels, that left knee injury. They haven't confirmed what the injury exactly is, but it is in the left knee. He is day-to-day, and his status for Sunday's game is in question. Some are reporting it is in doubt, which could be a massive blow for the Commanders against the Raiders team, which is coming off a kind of short week. I mean, they played Monday night, and the Commanders are coming off that kind of mini bye, right? They played on Thursday, 10 days of rest. That could be advantageous for them. But if Marcus Mariota is starting the game, I think it gives the Raiders, even though Geno Smith is coming off of a poor performance, gives the Raiders the slight edge.
Yeah, I mean, Mariota obviously is no Jaden Daniels. I think the only reason why there's an edge is because the Commanders are looking at almost a series of cluster injuries, and that's always detrimental to teams, especially a team that I was saying at the beginning of the season just was very top heavy. They don't have a lot of depth. Their backups collectively are not that talented. So it doesn't take much for them to take a step back, and a drastic step back at that. So like losing Dietrich Wise, losing Eckler, having Bates be a little banged up, and then you put on Jaden Daniels. That's a lot, man. That's a lot for this team.
And Sam Cosmi's still not ready to go.
Not ready
Noah
to go.
Brown, like you've got some hits.
Yeah, so that's a problem. I would say I think Mariota on a one-off could play well enough to beat the Raiders. We saw him play well enough when he came in last year against the Panthers, and then when they played Dallas, I believe. I think he started for them at the end of the year, and he played well enough to squeak out that win, which was a big win for them, all things considered. I think it kind of helped with their placement in the playoffs. So I think he can handle it for a one-game sample size. Most backups can. But it's not a long-term solution by no means.
No, not at all. You've got to hit the panic button if Jaden Daniels is starting to miss a couple of games. And now this is the second straight season that Jaden Daniels is. I mean, he didn't miss any time last year, right? With the the back injury or the rib injury.
It was like torn cartilage or something like that.
Played very poorly, and he may have been better off missing some games. But now it's the second season in a row where he's dealing with injuries. Feels like these hits are starting to kind of pile up on him.
Imagine that you take unnecessary shots and you get injured.
He's not a big guy. He's kind of a twig, and he's getting a lot of hits. He's racking up the hits. He's got to learn how to slide. And look, I'll say it because I think it's in the back of a lot of commanders' heads right now. It feels like you are teetering on. Granted, this is an entirely new leadership staff, but you're teetering on what happened with RG3. He had that fantastic rookie campaign, and then he has the ACL injury. He kind of never fully heals. He's kind of dealing with these nagging injuries because he doesn't slide. He's taking unnecessary hits. He's not the biggest body. You've got to get in Jaden Daniels' ear and say, look, man, you've got to stop taking these hits. You could have a 15-year career as the quarterback for the Washington Commanders, or you can be out of the league in the next 6 and just kind of get beaten up. Like you've got to get that through his head. Because if not, you're going to lose. It's going to be one of the greatest what ifs.
Well, Jaden's got to be saved from himself. That starts with the coaching and a firm voice telling them that. Again, Lamar came into the league. He wasn't that big, and he ran 1,000 times more than Jaden.
But he knows how to take a hit.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't take square hits, right? Or he gets down, or he gets out of bounds. Like you see it sometimes from Jaden, but you're not seeing it enough. I know that the hit that did the injury was the one where he was rolling out left, and I think he had to scramble without a doubt because he was under a lot of pressure. But they, instead of just getting down, he's going for probably 2-3 extra yards, and somebody took him out from his knees.
It's like,
and he flipped. So
you don't need those. You don't need those.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield was taking some of those hits last night.
Baker was getting smacked a couple times, but not like CJ Stroud. Poor CJ Stroud.
Man, CJ Stroud. Look, last night was a perfect example of how the Texans have failed CJ Stroud. You texted me as we were watching the game. You texted me, that running back just missed the pass pro, and it was just so blatantly
the worst pass protection I've ever seen in my life. He
just whiffed on a free rusher, and it just clobbered CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud, people are starting to, I think, the shine of CJ starting to lose a little bit. He's losing the luster, not for his own poor play. It's because he has maybe 1 second before he has pressure in his lap. And the Texans this offseason, instead of trying to make the offensive line better, they made it worse by trading away Laramie Tunsil. And there's just no hope for CJ Stroud right now. Every time he gets the ball, he's got a defender in his lap within a second. You cannot be a successful NFL quarterback doing that. And it was on full display last night. And the offense for Houston just feels out of sorts. It feels out of rhythm. It feels out of sequence. And nothing feels easy for the third-year quarterback and for that Texans offense in general. And that's how you lose a lot of games. That's how you lose a lot of rhythm. I mean, trying to build off of last season, you won the AFC South, sure, but now this year, the Colts are 2-0. The Jaguars are 1-1, and you're sitting there at 0-2, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of hope coming for Houston because their offensive line is just so bad. You have the same record as the Tennessee Titans, and honestly, I feel more faith in the Titans right now than I do the Houston Texans.
Yeah, the Texans, CJ needs a clean pocket, and him trying to scramble.
All quarterbacks need a clean pocket.
Yeah, but some guys can at least move a little bit, buy themselves time, and make it work. I don't even like CJ trying to buy himself time. It just doesn't seem like it's natural for him. But he still throws one of the best balls in the NFL. But it stinks that they really didn't do him any justice. That was a winnable game last night. They're going to run across that a lot They're gonna have a lot of winnable games. That defense.
I mean, week 1 was a winnable game. You lost by 5. You lost 14-9, and you slowed down the Rams' offense, which in week 2 looked like a world beater's offense. You have a good defense.
Yeah, that defense was solid. Not against the run for some reason. They couldn't. Dude, Bucky Irving, I was shocked to see that he only had 4 yards to carry. It felt like he had like 8. Like every time he touched the ball, it was a 7-yard gain. But yeah, you're squandering a good opportunity because defensive windows are very limited. And they've got a defense that can hold guys under 20 for sure, with Stingley and Anderson and that crew. So it's unfortunate that they're wasting away with no offense.
No offense. And you've got a quarterback that is good, and it's just wasting him away. We got a texter texting in 2 things from last night. D'Amico Ryans has to know not to score that touchdown at the end of the game. They needed a field goal to win and could have forced Tampa Bay to use all 3 timeouts and kick a field goal to win or leave little time with no timeouts. Chubb takes it to the house 25 yards and gives the Bucs 2 whole minutes to march down the field. Yes. That is a great point. If we want to talk analytics, if we want to dive into all of that, like you should have drained the clock a little bit. If Nick Chubb does slide, even if you just take it past the 2-minute warning, you then burn that quote unquote timeout that the Bucs could have used. That's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
Yeah, but looking at that defensive sequence, I didn't even need to use a timeout to get down the field. They just marched down the field.
But even if you can give them maybe instead of 2 minutes to march down the field, you give them 50 seconds.
Yeah, burn at least a minute and some change.
Yeah, just like and Nick Chubb should know that. Nick Chubb is granted he hasn't played real football what feels like in 3 years.
He's played enough to know.
Well, I'm saying the gruesome injuries.
Yeah,
he just saw an end zone. He's like, I haven't seen one of these in a while. Let me break in and. That's a good point. Secondly, let's talk Baker. He's not Lamar or Josh Allen, but the guy is a winner. He's proven that in Tampa Bay. I don't think he gets enough praise for his willingness to win. He's the definition of a quarterback. And I wholeheartedly agree. He's not, in that elite tier, but he's a top 10 quarterback. He is a guy that I feel comfortable in. If I'm a Seahawks fan, if he was the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, I would feel super comfortable going into each game with him. And I think he has shown time and time again that he is the answer. Back-to-back NFC South champs and has just done a very, very good job as the quarterback for Tampa Bay. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back. Lake Lewis joining us in studio, our Commanders insider and host of the Lake Lewis Jr. Show on YouTube. Coming up at 9:30 as well, David Cunningham will be joining us to talk all things Virginia Tech and try to break down what's happening in Blacksburg. Who are they targeting? Who does he think they should target? What's the athletic director situation? There's a lot to break down over there in Blacksburg. And also, 1061 ESPN Richmond has your chance to be part of a one-of-a-kind celebration. The 2025 Capital District Basketball Reunion, honoring the players, coaches, cheerleaders, and fans of the 1970s. It all happens Saturday, September 20th at the Richmond Raceway Complex infield, a day of tributes, memories, and reconnecting with the legends of Capital District basketball. We've got 5 pairs of tickets to give away starting today and tomorrow. Join Bob Black today on the Sports Huddle when he sits down with a special guest from the reunion and gives away the first pair. Then keep it locked right here over the next day, over the next 24 hours, as we give away the remaining tickets throughout those 24 hours. Don't wait. Celebrate the history, the memories, and the family atmosphere of Capital District basketball. Listen, call in, and win only on 1061 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Cooler fall temperatures are coming, and that means perfect weather for a round of golf at Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. Queenfield Golf Club, RVA's best kept secret.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No.
So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes.
See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely.
Face tattoo?
Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Hey, this is Jack Fitzpatrick. If you've ever been in a car accident, there's one place to call, Schilling and Esposito. I know them personally. I know their work ethic. They focus on their clients and their big dog obsession with getting the most compensation for their client. Heck, they even give you their cell phone numbers. Call them today at 804-320-0950 and put their entire team to work for you. 804-320-0950. Schilling and Esposito. Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
For you and I, this is waste. But to a tree's roots, it's dessert. Just ask the pros at Robinson's Plumbing Service. Just because it's fall doesn't mean trees stop growing. Right now, their roots are spreading, seeking out any water they can find. A great source is your sewer main. The roots slowly work themselves into the drain pipe. Once inside, they get all the moisture they want. Then they expand and multiply. That causes slow drainage, clogs, and sometimes backups. If you've got a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service now. They'll bring out their pipe cameras, drain machines, and cheddars. If there's a clog, they can blast out those invading roots. And if your line needs replacing, Robinson's Plumbing Service also has excavators. And don't worry, Robinson's Plumbing won't hurt your trees. Fall is here, the leaves may be dropping, but the roots are still spreading. So if you're seeing signs of a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service, voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service. Schedule your appointment now at robinsonsplumbingservice.com.
Previously on Clinton and Friends.
Joe in Arkansas, what's up?
I'm one of them dudes. I'm a hauler. He are the drivers. You remember in Shawshank Redemption where he told him, I know a guy that knows a guy that can get some things? I'm the guy that he knew. He be on the road, see Weezy. We listen to you. We love you. I love you. We love you. Thank you for what you do, sir.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. This is Freddie and Harry.
A man who, like Harry Douglas, played wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. He's Brian Finneran. What was it like to be on the same team with a young Harry Douglas?
I tell you what, the first few months was a little scary for me, Freddie. The kid was wide open. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. He had so much passion and love for the game of football, you had to tone it back a little bit.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Amber Indian.
I'm not worried about Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns. They are going to be in the college football playoff. Arch did not have a great game at all. He had a bad game. This was all about the defenses for both teams.
The only reaction I'm going to have is that he's not the Heisman favorite, but he never should have been. He's not winning the Heisman off of that performance against Ohio State. The whole thing was so stupid.
Amber Indian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80. The Rich Eisen Show.
Do you think Mahomes is sitting around pissed about whatever that story is being written?
It's so hard to get to a Super Bowl. And Tom Brady would say the same thing. So my guess is that's the thing that probably gnaws on him pretty good, that he's lost a couple. Fortunately for me, I didn't lose one.
You see how I smiled when he said he never lost?
By the way, fortunately, I never lost a Super Bowl.
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
My favorite player in the NFL ever is Dan Marino, and I do not want Lamar Jackson to be the modern Dan Marino. I don't want his career and his accomplishments to feel incomplete because he doesn't have a ring. And I think that's why we put so much pressure on him, because we all acknowledge the greatness and we don't want to see him fall short of completing the resume.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
We're seeing an accident on Belt Boulevard at Broad Rock Boulevard. Beware of some delays heading north on 195 between Broad Street and Bryant Park Interchange. Some backup heading north on 95 between Bells Road and Maury Street. And for those of you heading west on 64, we are seeing some congestion between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95 Interchange.
Statewide sports, straight talk, and no love. Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN. Your daily dose of hard-hitting Virginia sports debate. Don't miss this.
Everybody here. Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday morning. And Tuesdays mean we've got Lake Lewis Jr. joining us in studio, our Commanders insider and host of the Lake Lewis Jr. Show on YouTube. Not fresh off of the trip from Lambeau, but fresh to us. We haven't seen you since the trip to Lambeau. How was the trip itself? We'll dive into the game, but the trip itself up to Lambeau Lake.
I got to be honest with you, it was a nightmare. Obviously, coming out of Richmond, leaving to Richmond, I flew into Appleton, Wisconsin. And then had to Uber to Green Bay, which wasn't bad.
So you got one of the two Ubers in the area.
Exactly. So, but coming back, right after the game, I had to do my stand up on the field after the game. And after that, we immediately, myself and some colleagues, we carpooled. It was like 3 cars, 2-hour drive to Milwaukee to fly out. And
that night?
That literally, we arrived in Milwaukee at 4 a.m. And so this is where it gets interesting. I had to fly from Milwaukee to Chicago to connect to fly to Richmond. Flight was delayed in Chicago 4.5 hours. I'm just sitting there in the airport, no hair, just like, what are we doing here? We just saw the team play one of the worst games I've ever seen them play in the Dan Quinn era. And then this happened. So I was just like, just wanted you to chalk up.
Yeah, just a little cherry on top. What do you think was the prime? Now, we can dive into a lot of the issues that came up in that game on Thursday night against the Packers. What do you think the primary issue was for the Commanders?
I think it was the schemes. I think Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt, they both got out coached. They got out schemed. And it was almost as if the Packers used their whole summer, their whole training camp and preseason to prepare for this game, because obviously we saw what they did to Detroit in week 1, but it carried over. It really did. So, I got a little tidbit that you think about. You think about who the Packers play this week. They play the Eagles. Well, they had a chance to game plan, the Eagles and Commanders just by watching the same film, and it showed. It looked like they were a step ahead. Everything Washington did, they had an answer for. And Washington didn't make any adjustments in the game plan. I thought was porous on offense because they didn't run the football. You can't have, 19 rushes and 7 of them are Jaden. You can't have that against a pass rushing team with perhaps the best pass rusher in the game, Micah Parsons. They allowed Green Bay to do exactly what they hoped they could do, and that was pin their ears back and come after number 5.
And man, Micah was just a one-man right. He opened things up for everyone on that defense. Mm-hmm. And we were talking Jaden Daniels last year when he played Micah. He was saying he's a game wrecker. You can't let him wreck the game. Fast forward a year later, week 2, Jaden saying he's a game wrecker. You can't let him wreck the game. Well, he has wrecked the game every time he has played Jaden Daniels up to this point. Is it a mental thing now with Jaden and Micah? Does he just think Micah has the edge over him?
I wouldn't say he thinks he has the edge, but I just think that he's aware of where Micah is at all times, as he should be. Most teams should be, but Micah, just for whatever reason, he gets up against Washington. He has it in him. I don't know what it stems from. I can say that I do know that Micah wants to put on a show in front of his former coach in Dan Quinn. He holds him in the highest regards. Both of them do. So I think, it's just kind of one of those things like, hey, coach, remember me? Remember I used to do this with you. And now I'm going to do this against you.
It was a tough tough outing for the Commanders' offensive line too. Just felt like you mentioned they didn't run the football, so they kind of on their own became one-dimensional. It wasn't like that the Packers took them out of it. They on their own decided to become one-dimensional, put the offensive line in a very tough spot. And then the Packers learned, we could just put Micah on Connerly and kind of welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what teams are going to do. They're gonna find a way to rotate their line so that their star player, obviously this week against the Raiders, I expect to see, Pete Carroll try to find every way possible to get Max Crosby lined up on the other side, so he's going up against Josh Connerly. But if you go back to, Thursday night, even Laramie Tunsil seemed a little off, had the false start. And I mean, nothing was working. It seemed like they just almost mentally didn't get off the bus. And I do attribute some of that to that Thursday night game. I know that team was tired. I mean, you asked when we started, how I feel. I think yesterday was probably the first day I kind of came back into my own, realm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tiring trip. It really was. It was a lot to go into that. So as players, I can only imagine how they felt, but they look like they didn't get off the bus, off the team plane or the bus, whatever you want to call it. And everyone keeps saying, well, the Packers had to go through the same thing. Not necessarily, because they were home. And
they were sleeping in their own beds.
And they've been sleeping in their beds to start the season because they were at home against Detroit. There's something about NFL travel on a short week. And, this is the nature of the business. When you're a star team and you have a star player, you're going to have these type of games. So Washington has to find a way to get used to this.
You got to learn how to do it. Lake Lewis Jr. joining us on this Tuesday morning. I want to turn our attention to the left knee of Jaden Daniels, which is getting a lot of talk because he's now day-to-day, which is always one of those weird injury designations because no one really knows what day-to-day means. Jaden Daniels, this left knee injury, do you know the severity? Do you have any idea of how his status for Sunday will be impacted?
So I'm just going to go out on record and say that I think he's playing Sunday. I do. I know after the game, and I got to shout out my colleagues, who cover the team and who travel, like I do. We all saw Jaden limping. We saw it in the game, but we clearly saw it afterwards in the locker room, and he walked in the presser. No one put that out. And that was intentional. I want people to understand that because there's certain things that you just don't want to open up that can. And this team is really good on trying to keep things close, keep the lid on it. And no one put that out, but we all saw it and we all could have ran with it. And obviously it got out another way. Don't want to go that route. But yeah, I asked Jaden, was he good? He said, I'm good. And then when he got to the presser, he said, the first question, how's the knee or how do you feel? And he said, I'm okay. He didn't want to talk about it. Maybe the adrenaline was still flowing from the game. So maybe you didn't feel the pain as much, but yeah, the MRI was done. Everyone knew that. That's procedure. But the fact that there's no damage, it's a sprain. Those happen a lot in football, ironically. Yeah. So I think he's going to play. I do. I think if, we'll be at practice tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Friday's kind of the day you see things, but Friday's a walkthrough. So for him, he may have to go through the drills again to see if he passed all the tests, as Coach Quinn said. But this guy's the ultimate competitor. And I know he knows that they laid an egg in Lambeau, and guys want to recover from that. They don't want that lingering in their mind that this is the last performance. I look like this. We played like that. So I think he's the type of kid. We saw that last year, obviously, broken ribs. People were saying he wasn't playing against the Bears, and he came out there and threw 70-yard Hail Mary and won the game. I think we see him Sunday. I really do.
So, yeah, the MRI comes back. Everything's, for the most part, kind of best case scenario. It's a sprain, nothing. Yeah. So it's really just a pain tolerance thing.
Exactly.
And in the world of the NFL, they've got a lot of ways for you to tolerate that pain. Do you think, because last year there was an interesting point in the season, right? Cliff Kingsbury, he's getting a little heat because every year with the Cardinals, they always started hot
and then
fizzled.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of had that fizzle last year, but then they hit the up ramp again to finish out the year. But it also coincided with Daniels' rib injury.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the offense will fizzle now with the knee sprain where they may have to keep Jaden in the pocket a little bit more? Or do you think Cliff may have learned from last year's mistakes in letting that offense fizzle?
Well, we hope he's learned from that. I think he's learned from that. But then I go back to Thursday and I'm seeing Jaden running for his life, and there was no semblance of a running game. You can't do that. So now fast forward to this Sunday, they have to run the football, regardless if Jaden plays or not. I don't care if it's Marcus Mariota or Josh Johnson quarterbacking. If this team doesn't make a concerted effort to run the football, they're going to be in trouble, not just this week, but every week, because you don't want Jaden to have to, let's face it, all the moves that were made in the offseason, you draft a tackle in the first round with your first pick. You trade for all-pro left tackle. You trade for another dynamic receiver to go opposite Terry.
Mm-hmm.
You're making all these moves on the offense. You draft a running back who's now starting for you and Bill Krosky-Merritt. So all these moves were made to not have Jaden have to put that Superman cape on every Sunday. And they fell back into falling in love with that toy last week. They did the same thing over and over. It was almost as if you were waiting for Jaden to bail you out. And they can't win like that. They just can't. This guy's dynamic. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks. I truly believe that in the league. But if you look at the other quarterbacks in that same realm, there's a guy in Kansas City right now that's starting to look
human,
mortal. Exactly. Because they depended on him so much to bail him out. Now, outside of Travis Kelce, who else do they have in Kansas City? Not the straight teams here. But the point is, when you start putting too much pressure on one guy, ask Baltimore how that's worked out in the playoffs all these years. When you expect Lamar to have to wear that cape again and again and again, he needs help, and Jaden does.
Yeah, and you brought up the Ravens. They go out and they get Derrick Henry to try and get it where they don't have to put so much on Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like every year they're trying to draft a wide receiver to be his wide receiver one. Maybe they found it with Zay, but they have made that effort to try and take it off. And for the Commanders, it's just interesting because you do bring in Debo. He really wasn't utilized much in the Packers game.
Yeah.
You re-sign Terry, you get that done, and he's been
double team and blanketed, but you're not finding ways to get him open.
Yeah, he's been fine. Jalen Lane got a lot of talk. He's not really been Bill Krosky-Merritt. He's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like everyone outside of Jaden, granted, it's a very small sample size, I understand, but it just feels like as of right now, Cliff Kingsbury has just been like, well, we got Jaden. Like we who else? He'll figure something out. And that's how they've approached the games. Even the Giants game, they could have kind of twisted the knife a little bit more than their 21-6 win. And it just feels like, oh, well, we got the lead and Jaden will eventually do something. And that's just not how a team that I think with NFC Championship aspirations should be approaching these games.
Yeah, it's almost as if, you look at the Eagles, Super Bowl champions, they're undefeated again this year. And you watch their games, the way they won against Dallas. And then obviously Sunday against, Kansas City. Nothing really jumps out at you, but they're winning. And I think for them, they do have the talent at each position that if one of those guys needs to go off in that game, you can ride that hot hand. Washington is trying to find that, and it seems like all these new toys, they just haven't meshed. So hopefully this week 3 will be, similar to last year's week 3, where it seemed like, you go back to that first game against the Buccaneers last year, they just didn't seem like they were just totally disjointed. Yeah. They weren't there. The second game, they had to use all those, Austin Seibert field goals to win that game against the Giants. Well, the third game was that, primetime game in Cincinnati, and it just seemed like everything finally clicked. You're hoping that's the case this year against the Raiders. They're back at home. Look, if they don't get it done this Sunday, then there's room for alarm at that point. but I think they'll be fine.
So right now, the hand's hovering over the alarm. We haven't hit anything. Still,
I would say you've taken your hand out the pocket.
I've taken my hand out
the red button's near, so you haven't hit it.
We're prepared to hit it, but it is just so interesting because week one, you've got the front four of Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and you shut them down for the most part. Like they don't wreck the game whatsoever. And then you've got Micah, which you would think, okay, it's just Micah. Granted, Rashawn Gary's good. They've got Luke Van Ness. He's fine, but it's Micah we have to worry about.
Absolutely.
And Micah he just dominated them. And I wonder, do you think week one is more of what this offensive line is? Week two, or is it, as most things are, something in the middle?
I'm going to go with week one. And the reason why I say that, Micah is such a unicorn that he's a guy that, and I got to shout my school out. We are Penn State. He's from there. And, when he was there, he was a linebacker, so you get him in the NFL and Dan Quinn's like, wow, we can put this guy on the defensive line as well as still play linebacker, but just move him all over the place. He's a unicorn. You can't do that with too many guys. Like, where Max Crosby's going to be, where Myles Garrett's going to be, Trey Hendrickson. They're linemen on the end of the line, but with Micah, you can move him around, and that causes problems for a lot of offenses. So I'm going to give Green Bay that. They've got a unicorn now to go already with a really
nothing. They got him
for a bag of chips, plain chips, not even barbecue, just plain. So I'm going to go back to that first game. This is the problem now, though. For Connerly, the rookie that I think is really good. I really do. He's being baptized. He's at the Vatican every week, literally, where his baptisms are taking place, because he's going up against Brian Burns. He's going up against Micah Parsons. And you think, it's going to get better. Sorry, Max Crosby this week, so it's just unreal. But I think the problem now is that John Bates is day to day, and John Bates is forget best blocking tight end in football. For Washington, he's their best blocker, period. And you could also put him near Josh Connerly on that line to kind of give another extra blocker, a guy that can
help him out. Yeah,
can chip a guy coming on the edge. Well, if he doesn't play, wow. I mean, it really changes a lot. And I'm not saying that Josh isn't capable of blocking Max Crosby, because I'm sure he can do okay, but Max Crosby's going to make plays because that's just who he is. He's an all-pro edge rusher. So you're going to have to find a way. Maybe, Colson can come in and do something. Yankoff, they're going to have to figure something out, because you can't let another guy wreck your game plan, and then you can't do anything offensively.
And kind of that's a good segue into this game on Sunday against the Raiders. What do they have to do, do you think, to win? Is it just creating better schemes? Is it getting their guys open? Is it running the ball? Is it as simple as running the dang ball? Like, is that what it is? How do you think the Commanders come out of Sunday with a win?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you play against teams that like to rush the quarterback, that are good at it because they have an elite player on the edge like the Raiders do, you have to run the football. And ironically, you have to run the football at that guy. You have to make them work. It's almost like, you use basketball terms. You can't let a guy just run free on screens and get his shot off all the time. You got to kind of beat him up a little bit, make him earn his shots. And I think in football terms, if you run at an edge rusher, they can't take a play off to gear up now to pin their ears back, with obvious passing situations. Yeah. So for Washington, they have to run the football. If it's Chris Rodriguez, if it's Bill Krosky-Merritt, if it's Jeremy McNichol, I know they, signed a guy yesterday. And I mean, listen, you have to make that a concerted effort. I don't care if Jaden's quarterbacking or if it's Marcus Mariota. Remember, Marcus missed all the preseason, because of an injury. So you don't want him to resume the role of Jaden running around for his life. You have to turn this game into just a normal, typical football game, play defense, run the football, take your big plays down the field, not bubble screens. But let's throw the football down the field a little bit here in this offense.
The secondary should have a fun time too. Geno's coming off that 3 interceptions last night. They should have their opportunities maybe to make their impact felt on this game and kind of take the burden away from the offense a little bit.
Absolutely. And they haven't had that turnover yet. They didn't have it in preseason either. I mean, they're looking for some interceptions, and I think their secondaries, I think they're really good. I think, obviously against Green Bay, some things just didn't happen for them, and they kind of got exposed in the middle of the field, looked like kind of like the Rivera era where it was open sesame everywhere, open season. But I think for them, they're going to have to find a way, because now you're going up against Brock Bowers. And
he's going to feast.
Absolutely. So they have trouble covering tight ends. I think this is a game where I'm looking to see Jordan McGee or maybe even Kane Madrano's active. I want to see one of these young athletic linebackers that they have be able to cover one of these tight ends, because to ask Frankie Louisville and Bobby Wagner, who are disruptors more towards at the line of scrimmage, to have them covering tight ends down the field, that's not their game.
Especially a tight end like Brock Bowers, who's already the best tight end in the league right
Absolutely.
now.
You're looking at like a big wide receiver almost.
Who can block and do everything extremely well. Lake, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Tuesday morning to chat with us. Have fun going up to Ashburn this week, and have fun covering the game on Sunday.
Appreciate you as always.
We'll get a quick break in here, step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday morning.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No.
So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes.
See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely.
Face tattoo?
Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Hey, it's Paul Sargent, owner of All Set Auto Richmond. How would you like the best paint protection film, ceramic coating, or window tint for your vehicle? At All Set Auto Richmond, we have the products, knowledge, and experience to enhance and protect your vehicle. I personally invite you to come over and visit us at All Set Auto Richmond. We're on Mayland Drive near 64 and Gaskins. Or feel free to Google us, All Set Auto Richmond. That's ALSET Auto Richmond. All Set Auto Richmond. We can take any vehicle from ordinary to extraordinary.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to billshappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
Bills Happen is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to billshappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to billshappen.com. That's billshappen.com. Billshappen.com.
Are you in need of funding for your next commercial or investment property? No problem. At Direct Mortgage Brokers powered by Nexa Mortgage, they specialize in helping local business owners and investors secure the funding they need. If you're ready to hear yes to the funding you need for your commercial or investment property, call or visit today for a free consultation. DirectMB.com. That's DirectMB.com. Don't stress. Get the funding you need for your next commercial or investment property. Visit DirectMB.com.
Richmond Kickers soccer games in the fall is a RVA tradition. Just a few games left at City Stadium this season. Reserve your tickets online at richmondkickers.com.
The post-crib assembly press conference brought to you by Progressive.
Michael, you had some trouble putting the crib together today. What went wrong?
You know, those instructions can be tough, and, well, you saw the outcome.
Were you upset when your wife pulled you and called in the backup?
No, I mean, the baby needs a crib to sleep in, so whatever it takes.
You got a changing table to put together next. It's got a lot of drawers. What's your comment?
You know what? We're done here.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Huge savings on Dell AI PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors are here, and they're newly designed to help you do more faster. They can generate code, edit images, multitask without lag, draft emails, summarize documents, create live translations, and even extend your battery life. That's the power of Dell AI with Intel Inside. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
It's currently 63 degrees and raining with a high today of 68 and a low of 63. We're expecting continuous rainfall throughout the day and into the evening, followed by more rain tomorrow with a high of 70 and a low of 61.
Roll down the windows and crank up the sports huddle. Join the voice of the Richmond Spiders, Bob Black, every weekday. From stats to strategy, he's your rush hour MVP. Drive time just became prime time.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday, September 16th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen alongside. Just wrapped up with Lake Lewis Jr., our Commanders insider and host of the Lake Lewis Jr. show on YouTube. Always appreciate him stopping by each and every Tuesday. You can hear Lake and as he gives all of his insights on the team, everything about that. He was up at Lambeau last Thursday for the Packers loss, but gave some great insights. I'm very intrigued on Jaden Daniels' injury. And when Lake says something, I typically listen, Alan, because he was spot on when it came to the Terry McLaurin deal. He was spot on with that, and he says he expects Jaden Daniels to play. It's a sprain. The MRI, don't read too much into that. MRIs are given out like candy in the NFL. Don't read too much into him getting an MRI. But it came back, no real damage. It's just a sprain. So it's really a pain tolerance thing for Jaden Daniels. And Blake said it. I'll agree with him. I expect him to play here against the Raiders.
Yeah, if you play with torn cartilage, which I think
broken ribs and
that
rib injury last year.
If he played through that, he's had 10 days to recover from a sprain. I'm sure he'll do the rest of recuperation, wrap that bad boy up, and be out there. Like he's
take some cortisone shots or whatever those are.
He may be too competitive for his own good. I'm sure Lake has seen that too, being that he gets close to him and whatnot in locker rooms and everything on a day-to-day. Like we only get what we get on Sundays, right? Yeah. So coming off the field, man, I'm sure your adrenaline is on a max. You say some crazy things, you do some crazy things, but I think his default is hyper competitive, which is what you want.
Which is why he runs the way he runs.
It's why destructive,
he doesn't slide. Yeah, you have to protect him from himself more than you do the other defenders out there.
Yeah, and they'll figure it out. I think Quinn and them will figure it out. Quinn knows his team. He knows the personality. He's managing those personalities very well. I think Jaden does look up to and listen to guys like Bobby Wagner and Terry. At some point, somebody's going to pull him to the side. Even Tunsil's probably going to pull him to the side and let him know. The accumulation of those hits is what takes you down.
Yeah, it's not the one hit that takes you down. It's the fact that you're taking 100 of them each season, and you really shouldn't be. But the Connerly aspect of all of this too, because Cliff Kingsbury has got to figure out a way to make him not look like a.
There's nothing you can do for Connerly right now. I hate to say it,
especially if Bates is out.
The young man has to learn. Like he's just got to get better on the fly. I'm with Lake on that. I had sound. The mic just wasn't set up right. But I asked him Sunday about that. Like specifically asked Connerly, like, dude, you're a rookie. You went up against the Giants in your first game. Your door prize for that is Micah Parsons,
and then your other door prize.
And I said, Crosby. Not looking ahead, but the week after that, you've got Max Crosby. And for Connerly, he is a weak link on that line. If we're gonna be specific, if I gotta choose between Tunsil and Connerly,
I'm going
Connerly 1,000 times out of 1,000.
And the thing with that too is it's the old cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason, right? You are only as strong as your weakest link when it comes to offensive line play. because I'm just not going to go after Laramie Tunsil, and I'm just going to attack Connerly. And it's not like we can bring Tunsil from the left side to the right side to help him.
So my concern, though, with Connerly is the way he's getting beat. Like, there's no technique to it at all. Guys are just beating him with straight quickness.
It's like he's a step slow right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's still learning the speed of the NFL, which is expected. I think it's just on you notice it a lot more because it's against elite players.
But he's the upper echelon of his draft class in athleticism for that position. So it's
speed shouldn't hurt him.
Yeah, what I expected was the same thing Mike Green did to him down at the Senior Bowl, just raw power, just bull rushing him. Like, I expected that. He lets guys get too close to him. He doesn't use his length. He's young. He hasn't learned that yet. When he does learn that, he probably will have the upside of a Laramie Tunsil because he's a big kid. But just the first step quickness is not there. And that's concerning because Micah didn't give him any work. He just took a step inside and was free.
Yeah, Micah made him look bad. Like it.
Same with Thibodeau. Took a step inside, was free. Like, I mean, I got to see you at least put your hands on him. I'd rather see you get run over or pushed into the quarterback than just a guy beating you off the step with no contact.
That's what I'm going to be really focused in on this game on Sunday is how does Connerly handle Max Crosby after
who's probably the worst of the three matchups.
I would think he's the second best.
No, Micah will take a playoff or two. I've seen it. So will Thibodeau. Crosby is.
Oh, you're like the worst, as in like the best.
Yeah, Crosby.
Like the most sorry, when you said the worst, I thought you meant like he's the worst.
No. Crosby's motor is insane. It was insane when he wasn't on the national scene. When he was at Eastern Michigan, I think is where he came from. Yeah. He was insane in
Central
Maction.
Michigan.
No, it was Eastern. It was definitely Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah. So
one of those.
I just remember seeing that like on tape. Like his motor's crazy and it never left him. That's the one attribute he's always had. It was last night, same thing. Like, he's relentless, and that's a tough matchup for a kid like Connerly.
And like, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Washington's going to win this game on Sunday against the Raiders. Like, I think they are going to have their hands full and they are going to have to play a full game. Like, Cliff Kingsbury can't fizzle. He fizzled last year when Jaden got hurt. You can't fizzle when he gets hurt this year. You've got to kind of pull out your wonder kid type of schemes out there that were on display to start last year. They were on display to start every season with the Cardinals. You've got to get back to that. I am worried that Cliff Kingsbury is going to become overly reliant on the Superman he has back there, and things are going to go a little haywire over the next couple of weeks while they're dealing with this knee sprain that Jaden Daniels is working through.
Better use crypto. That's Bill. Better use them. I'm serious.
Little Bill. All right, coming up in hour number 2, David Cunningham from Tech Sideline will join us at 9:30 to make sense of what's happening in Blacksburg. And of course, we've got news or snooze coming up to begin hour number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
For you and I, this is waste. But to a tree's roots, it's dessert. Just ask the pros at Robinson's Plumbing Service. Just because it's fall doesn't mean trees stop growing. Right now, their roots are spreading, seeking out any water they can find. A great source is your sewer main. The roots slowly work themselves into the drain pipe. Once inside, they get all the moisture they want. Then they expand and multiply. That causes slow drainage, clogs, and sometimes backups. If you've got a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service now. They'll bring out their pipe cameras, drain machines, and cheddars. If there's a clog, they can blast out those invading roots. And if your line needs replacing, Robinson's Plumbing Service also has excavators. And don't worry, Robinson's Plumbing won't hurt your trees. Fall is here, the leaves may be dropping, but the roots are still spreading. So if you're seeing signs of a slow drain, call Robinson's Plumbing Service, voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service. Schedule your appointment now at Robinson's Plumbing Service.com.
Are you in need of funding for your next commercial or investment property? No problem. At Direct Mortgage Brokers powered by Nexa Mortgage, they specialize in helping local business owners and investors secure the funding they need. If you're ready to hear yes to the funding you need for your commercial or investment property, call or visit today for a free consultation. DirectMB.com. That's DirectMB.com. Don't stress. Get the funding you need for your next commercial or investment property. Visit DirectMB.com.
It's bow time. The Pork Chop Griller is back at Bojangles for a limited time. We know you missed it in all its tender, marinated glory, and how could you not? Because when you take a juicy, mouth-watering pork chop and sandwich it on a flaky, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, it's not a flavor you want to say goodbye to. And don't worry, if it could talk, we're pretty sure it would say, I missed you too. Get to the nearest Bojangles and order yours today. It's bow time.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill this September 16th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick Allen alongside. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on 1061 ESPN Richmond, live from the Ortho Virginia studios in the capital of the Commonwealth. Call, text in, be part of the show in hour number 2, 804-327-0888. You can also watch the stream on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch the stream live. You can also like, comment, and subscribe over there as well. And you can, of course, listen 1061 ESPN Richmond app and ESPNRichmond.com. All right, to kick off hour number 2, we are going to dive right on in to news or snooze.
News or snooze.
Oh, man, what a great lineup today. Number 1, Brady hanging out in Raiders coach's booth during game.
Newsworthy, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Sir, absolutely not. Tom Brady has been accused of cheating or associated with cheating like his entire career.
Okay, and the NFL, sure, the NFL rule, but the NFL rule is he cannot attend practices. He cannot go to other teams' facilities. The only thing he can do is talk to other coaches and other players during their pre-production Zooms. He's not allowed to go on facility. They have to be handled either virtually or off facility.
I wouldn't trust him.
So, look, if he's getting that information, it's because of this coach's own stupidity in telling him that.
I wouldn't trust him.
No. Look,
he's not.
Last season, he was not allowed in pre-production meetings and all of that. But going into this year, the NFL decided that they are going to roll back some of the Brady restrictions,
which is ridiculous.
And look, now, is it weird that him and Chip Kelly talk 2 to 3 times a week?
He's a cheater, bro. Come on, man.
Okay, if he's cheating, he's only using the information that other teams are willingly giving him.
I wouldn't trust him.
Okay, don't trust him. Don't give him the information. Like, it's that simple. When he asks you who's hurt this week, don't tell him or lie. Like, just, sure. Is it weird that he's hanging out in the coach's booth? Yeah, but the NFL approved it, and he's only getting information that is given to him willingly by coaches and by players. It's not that big of a deal.
We're going to revisit this in like 3 weeks when it's like Washington Commanders playbook somehow found in Raiders locker room.
Well, that would be because a Washington coach gave it to him.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust him.
If you're inviting him into your facility, that's on you. Like, that is on you. If you're telling him every little thing that you're doing, that's on you. That's not on Tom Brady. Now, is it weird that an owner is hanging out in the coach's booth during a game? 1000%. That's a whole other conversation. We're making fun of the Colts owner for kind of doing the exact same thing, and yet we're praising Tom Brady for it. I think there's a little bit of a double standard there. I think it's weird for both of them to actually have headsets on and be involved in the way the Colts owner is, and I think it's weird that Brady, wearing that suit or that tux or whatever it was, decided to go and hang out with the coaches.
The Colts owner, my understanding is she's just doing that so she knows like the lingo and what's going on. Like she's doing it for like the purpose of learning. Like she's not talking on it. She's not suggesting plays or anything.
No. She's not. So but Brady is suggesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm cool with the Colts owner. I mean, honestly, on the other spectrum, if Tom Brady was telling me what he thinks I should do, I would listen to him.
That's valid.
I'm gonna say that too. But like, if the owners just want to know, like it's like if you just listen to the comms, like we do at NASCAR, you just want to hear the lingo and whatnot. I'm okay with that.
That's
but
a good way of putting it.
We don't want owners calling plays. Don't give Jerry any ideas.
Yeah,
he's already a madman with the roster. I can only imagine what he's calling with the playbook.
Yeah, you're right. That is what I'm worried about. All right, what's the next one?
Number 2, JJ McCarthy to miss 2 to 4 weeks with ankle injury.
Snoozeworthy. This might actually help Minnesota. He has played 7 of the 8 quarters he has played to start his NFL career have been downright atrocious.
It's been a thing.
Congrats. He had that one good fourth quarter and he looked good, but he did not back it up with a good week 2, and he is bad. So they may actually become better with JJ McCarthy on the bench.
You know what it reminds me of? When I saw O'Connell on the sideline with like his hand, just rubbing his forehead and just kind of like, gotta be encouraging. I gotta be encouraging. It was like when I was trying to teach my goddaughter how to drive, and we were in the car. She rolled up on the sidewalk, and I was just like, "Oh my god, the sidewalk is 20 feet from the road. Why are we so far right?" But you can't say that because again, you're a passenger in this vehicle. You don't want it to crash, so you got to be encouraging. I think that's how he felt too. Like I can't be so discouraging to my quarterback because he's driving this car. So. Hey, look, just keep it on the road, okay? We're doing fine.
We're doing fine. I will say, JJ McCarthy's in a really tough spot
over, JJ.
Because the offensive line is horrible for Minnesota to start the year. They've got so many injuries and so many new guys along that offensive line. Yeah. Ryan Kelly's out, their starting center. Christian Darrisaw, their all-pro left tackle, he's missing time. The backup left tackle, he's missing time. So you're down to really kind of the scrap heap with what you're doing out there, which has put JJ McCarthy in a tough spot. But Carson Wentz will step in, and Carson Wentz will likely make the Vikings offense look better, which is a crazy thing to say.
It's very simple. See Jetta, throw to Jetta.
And that's, Carson
until Addison comes back.
And then you know what that is? See Jetta, if covered, see Addison, throw to Addison.
Yeah, I was like, in this case, if it's real simple, if Jefferson covered, go down to option B, Hawkinson. Go down to option C, run for your life. I mean, you don't have enough time to get to option C, honestly.
Yeah, no, you don't. All right, so what's the next one?
Number 3 is, I got to pull it up. Brian Kelly apologizes for tirade.
Snoozeworthy.
News.
Wrong button, man. I got somebody calling. It's throwing me off. There we go.
I got to play a portion of this tirade a little bit because what Brian Kelly did after the win, it was a 20-10 win where the offense looked downright bad for the Tigers. It looked downright bad. So look, the first question for a college football playoff hopeful team, a team with national title aspirations, the first question naturally in that post-game presser isn't going to be praising you and patting you on the back and being like, "Oh, great win out there, coach. Good job." No, as this reporter was supposed to do, you ask the question, what's going on with the offense a little bit? You guys looked a little rough. And, Brian Kelly was not a fan of that question. And to me, it's snoozeworthy that he then apologizes for it. Coaches have gotten this into their head, it seems like, especially college coaches. And you've seen it with Mizzou, Kansas. You've seen it with a lot of different coaches and players where they think the media should be essentially just an extended PR arm for the program. They think that the reporters and everything should be fans and should be nice to them, when in reality, the reporter's job is to report on what's happening around the program, the good, the bad, the ugly. They are there to let the fans know and let the public know what is happening within the closed doors of the program. They aren't there to make you look like this great person. They are there to properly do their job. And Brian Kelly not liking the question, this was his quick response to being asked a question he did not like after their 20-10 win against Florida.
Brian in the back, I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question.
Just come on, man. Just come on. Sure, you apologize for it, but you shouldn't have that reaction in the first place. Just absolutely snoozeworthy. I don't care that he apologized.
I'm tired of these questions. Remember when he slammed his hand on the desk?
I'm tired of answering these same questions every. Well,
Shut
you know,
up, BK.
Man, it bothers me so much. All right, let's go out to the phone lines here in hour number 2. Rate us, Chris. Okay, CQ is on line 1. Good morning, CQ. How you doing? You there, CQ?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Good morning. Let's talk a little Raiders football from last night. A little disappointed in Geno. Geno with Geno. Gives you some good, some bad, and some ugly. Missed a lot of throws. The Chargers are the real deal, guys. They got Herbert in the offense that he can run, big jumbo set. So I guess we just have to take it out on these Skins fans this Sunday. I know everybody's looking at that as a big W, but I wouldn't be so sure about that. We're going to come in a little upset, and I still think the Skins will be favored. And for my betting money, I probably would take the Skins, but maybe seeing what the number is, I may take the Raiders to cover. But yeah, I think that was going to be a good game this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Are we worried about Ashton Genty at all?
And you know what? I'm not, because, and it's a small sample size, but if you look at when they actually feed him the rock, he does well. Then Chip Kelly gets away from it, and Geno starts slinging it all over the yard. And when you get down, it takes the running aspect out of the game. You have to sling the ball like that. But I think the past 2 games, we've come out first play. Everybody's expecting Jimmy run play action. And if we get behind the sticks, it kind of, second down, everybody, well, he threw it on first, so he's going to run, and they load the box on second. I think we just need to just find our identity through Genty and just run the ball, because that builds a better team. When you can run the ball and everybody knows you're going to run the ball, then you have a running game. That's what the Eagles do. Everybody knows they're going to run it, and they still run it. And I think that's what we have to adopt. You spent a first round pick number 6. Boom, you got to feed them, give them the ball, and then we just build off of that. I think now Genty's going to be fine. Just look at what he does when he touches the ball. I think he got a truck stick move last night, and then they just go away from him. I don't know. They just go away from him, and they just get behind, and then that totally takes them out of the game.
Yeah, that is true. Thank you so much for calling in, CQ. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I look forward to hearing you on Monday after the Commanders-Raiders game. I'm not fully anti-Raiders yet on that one. All right, let's go out to line 2. Raven Rob is on line 2. Good morning, Raven Rob. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on with y'all? Make sure y'all tap in. I just want to touch on a couple topics real quick. First off, to your Genty, I guess, concern or question. Like the gentleman said before, they obviously have to feed him the rock, but where he succeeds the most is dump off passes. With how low he is to the ground, they need to feed him the ball more, dumping it off, maybe throw some screens in there, or just some quick tosses to the sideline and let him do his thing. Obviously, when he does touch the ball, he will take it. But you're talking about the Raiders that it's always been pass heavy. So when you have a running back like that, he's not really going to excel if all they're going to do is pass the ball. So that's the first topic I want to talk about. And then can we please talk about Jake Browning? Can we please bring him up? I know everybody's going crazy. Look, I'm a Ravens fan since day one, since 96. But what Jake Browning can do in place of Joe Burrow is something special. I think he is a very solid backup quarterback. I mean, he came in the game 27 wins, completing 21 of 32 passes for 241 yards with 2 touchdowns. Now, mind you, he did throw 3 interceptions, but what do you expect with somebody coming off the bench, but still putting up?
Not throwing 3 interceptions.
That's what I expect.
If he's that good, then I'm not expecting him to throw that many interceptions.
But you're taking a backup off the bench. Are you kidding me? Do you want to? Okay, let's talk about his numbers compared to Caleb Williams. Way better stats than Caleb Williams, but everybody says that Caleb Williams is a top quarterback. He's overrated.
We have not said that, Raven Rob. If you've been listening to the show, we have been anti Caleb Williams for pretty much this entire season.
And he's played 3
going
games
into the preseason,
or 2 games, and he's only got 1 interception.
Yeah,
he only played a half.
I'm not doubting you. Jake Browning is not a horrible backup. Jake Browning is a fine backup. I would just prefer to have Joe Burrow, and I think the Bengals don't have full faith in Browning either, considering they're currently out there looking for new veteran backups that might be able to slot in. Maybe they go out and trade for Kirk Cousins. I don't know. But Jake Browning, when he had to play all of those snaps when Burrow went out 2 years ago with the wrist injury, he's a fine backup. Like, he is a fine backup. You're right. I just take a look. You're saying he's great, pointing to his game on Sunday. He did have 3 interceptions and nearly cost the Bengals the game.
I mean, I'm talking about he's great when he took over for Burrow when he got hurt 2 years ago or whatever it was. I mean, the guy is consistent. Now, again, I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes or even Joe Burrow. What I'm saying is he is a very solid replacement until Joe Burrow comes back. And again, when you're pulling somebody off of the bench, I want you to pull any other backup quarterback off of a bench and then throw numbers like that without throwing interceptions. He's rusty. He doesn't get full number one reps with the number one squad, right? And you're coming off of the bench, so you're not going to come out like Tom Brady up in the box cheating, getting plays and stuff. I mean, you're literally getting a backup quarterback, and for what he did is truly exceptional. I mean, and then you're looking at other quarterbacks in the league. He outperformed other quarterbacks that are starters in the league. I mean, he outperformed Geno Smith last night. I mean, again, I can bring up Caleb Williams, supposedly number one pick, and he's been a bust.
Raven Rob, I think you have it out for Caleb Williams. You brought him up twice now. I think you got it out for Caleb.
No, I don't. What I don't like is I don't like when people put a target on somebody's head and says that, hey, this is a number one. He's going to be a monster. I mean, we can go back and look at Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow. We can look at Ryan Leaf. We can look at Jamar Russell. You know, all of these people that won Heisman. I mean, and Matt Leinart. We can talk about that and that they were going to be the next best thing, but then they were bust.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing Caleb Williams is going to be. I mean, and people, you know, people want to blame it on the coaches. I mean, coaches do have a take in what's going on, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. You may have it in college. You may be able to play ball in college because it's a lot different when you're in the NFL. It's going to be faster. You're going to have bigger guys.
Quarterback is a position that is very difficult to predict. And you're right. We have had quote unquote generational talents that have fallen flat on their face. Jamarcus Russell, Trevor Lawrence is teetering on that right now. You mentioned Ryan Leaf. He's one of the biggest busts we've ever heard of. Like, then on the flip side, you have players like Andrew Luck, like Joe Burrow, where we knew they were going to be good and then they were good. But I see what you're saying, where it's very tough to draft quarterbacks and sometimes they are going to miss. And Caleb Williams is one that is looking like that was a miss. Now, he's still got a little bit left in his book to try and write out and try to finish his story. But so far, it's been a rough beginning to it. And you're right. I just think saying Jake Browning is better than Caleb Williams is an interesting argument to be had. Jake Browning, since going back to 2023 when he took over for Burrow, he's been a average quarterback, which is all you can ask for out of a backup. I'm there with you. He did have 3 interceptions. He did nearly lose the Bengals the game. He is a backup for a reason. But Jake Browning is good. I think you just got a little Caleb Williams hate in your coffee this morning.
No, I show respect to the players that, hey, look, one thing about it, I know ball. I've known ball since the beginning of time. And I think it is very, very funny when people praise people or say this next best thing. I can tell you right now, when the draft happened, the two quarterbacks that I took way over Caleb Williams was JD and Michael Penix. And I think those two are going to be the studs out of the draft over Caleb Williams or any other quarterback that came out of the draft.
I mean, every one of those quarterbacks in that draft class have been successful other than Caleb Williams, and we're still waiting to see on J.J. McCarthy. We're 8 quarters in so far. The early returns look like it's a negative, but for the most part, that was a loaded draft class at the quarterback position, and they all look like they are going to be good starters, at least in the NFL, which is something we hardly see. Raven Rob, thank you so much for calling in. We'll talk soon. We got to get to a break here. Appreciate everything you had to say. We got to get to a break, though, so have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. There goes Raven Rob. We're going to get our break in here. Step aside. Be back with more Fitz the Bill, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
It's bow time. Fumble in the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixings to feed your whole crew faster than you could say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
See website for details. Bills happen is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to billshappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
Bills Happen is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to billshappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Serving Richmond and beyond for over 20 years, Bonaire Shell features a full line of automotive services. Check out BonaireShell.com, loaded with coupons, specials, and more to see all that they can do for your car and your peace of mind. And now with their Fuel Rewards program, you can save at least 5 cents per gallon on every fill-up. Learn more at FuelRewards.com. Go see the team at Bonaire Shell, 8762 West Huguenot Road. Go to BonairShell.com or call them at 272-3232. That's 272-3232.
Hey, it's Paul Sargent, owner of All Set Auto Richmond. How would you like the best paint protection film, ceramic coating, or window tint for your vehicle? At All Set Auto Richmond, we have the products, knowledge, and experience to enhance and protect your vehicle. I personally invite you to come over and visit us at All Set Auto Richmond. We're on Mayland Drive near 64 and Gaskins. Or feel free to Google us, All Set Auto Richmond. That's ALSET Auto Richmond. Protect your vehicle from the Richmond road elements and the hot sun with All Set Auto Richmond.
Great news! Part-time and full-time jobs are available with companies at the Richmond Airport. Attend the casual in-person job fair September 18th from 10 to 3 at the Sheraton Richmond Airport Hotel, 5501 Eubank Road, across from the airport. Meet companies that are hiring now: TSA, Piedmont, SP Plus, and the Capital Region Airport Commission. The Richmond International Airport Job Fair is September 18th from 10 to 3 at the Sheraton Richmond Airport Hotel. Resumes encouraged but not required. For a list of employment opportunities, visit flyrichmond.com/employment.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Cullet Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Cullet Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Cullet Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container services available too. CNC Cullet Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
Hey, this is Jack Fitzpatrick. If you've ever been in a car accident, there's one place to call: Schilling and Esposito. I know them personally. I know their work ethic. They focus on their clients and their big dog obsession with getting the most compensation for their client. Heck, they even give you their cell phone numbers. Call them today at 804-320-0950 and put their entire team to work for you. 804-320-0950. Schilling and Esposito.
It's not homecoming, but Richmond football is coming home. After 3 straight road games, the Spiders play their first game of the season at Robbins Stadium, hosting state rival VMI. Join Robert Fish and Matt Smith this Saturday, 1:30 airtime, 2 p.m. kickoff on the home of the Spiders, 106.1 ESPN. He's from just up the road at Patrick Henry High, and this Thursday, he'll be right around the corner. Richmond football captain Jordan Allen joins Coach Russ Huseman for Behind the Web. Join us Thursday, noon to 1 at Bar West, 5811 Grove Avenue, or live on the home of the Spiders, 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome back in 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday, September 16th morning. Coming up in 14 minutes, we've got David Cunningham from Tech Sideline joining us to try and make sense of what's happening in Blacksburg. They've moved on from Brent Pry, and the reports from President Sands is that they are going to position themselves to be one of the biggest spenders in the ACC as the college football landscape is a-changing. And Tech's trying to be at the forefront of it now after being at the back of it for the last couple of years. So David Cunningham from Tech Sideline will join us to chat about that. And last night we saw, look, I'm going to be so honest with you, Alan. I did not stay up for the second game. That was a 10 p.m. kick. That was an insanely late kick. I watched the highlights this morning. My Chargers pick to win the AFC West. It's looking real nice, but a 10 p.m. kick is insane for us on the East Coast.
That's not insane. Grow up.
I'm sorry.
Grow up, man. Dude, I stay up and watch those. What was it? Used to be the Pack Out the Dark.
Yeah,
and
Pac-12 After Dark.
And then the Mountain West matinees with Hawaii and stuff like that.
No,
like you can handle one. This is how NFL fans are soft. College fans, that's nothing. A 10 p.m. kickoff.
NBA fans too.
NBA fans too. Yeah, 10 p.m.
10 p.m. tip for the NBA.
Yeah, it's like it's nothing. But NFL fans like, oh my God, 10 o'clock, I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, I had to go to sleep at 11 p.m.
Bro, we're always red eye during basketball and college football season.
Look, no, because college football's Saturday, so I can catch up on Sunday.
I mean, either way, you're up. You're up.
Yeah, you're up. But the first of the two was really solid. Baker Mayfield kind of makes that impression with his primetime win. He does a good job in that game. And we had a texter text in earlier. Let's talk Baker. He's not Lamar or Josh Allen, but the guy is a winner. He's proven that in Tampa. I don't think he gets enough praise for his willingness to win. He's the definition of a quarterback. And I agree. He's not Lamar. He's not Josh Allen, but he's definitely a guy that you can win with. Probably not a guy that you can win because of. He's in that kind of top 10, second, third tier-ish type of quarterback. And he gets just coming out. He was kind of always praised as a winner. I think that kind of lost some of its luster when he got traded, then became a scout team safety, and then was shipped in the middle of the night across the country to Los Angeles, where he had to wear the number 17, which I said it in hour number 1. Number 17, that feels like you're already out of the league. Like that just feels like a number no quarterback should wear. But he started a game in the 17, and he led the Rams to a comeback win. But I think that kind of took a little bit of his luster off. Some people kind of forgot how much of a winner that he is. And over the last, now going on his third season in Tampa, people are starting to find that back out. And I think last night was a great way for him to kind of make that emphatic statement on the national stage. I'm here, prime time. I'm gonna show why I'm regarded as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. It was a really good performance from him.
Yeah, but be honest, he didn't play well when he was with Cleveland. Nobody does.
Yeah,
I mean, he played well enough to some extent.
Won
but
him a playoff game.
Yeah,
had him with a winning record.
But his collective tenure of Cleveland Browns, like it wasn't that great. Nobody's good there, though.
Yeah, nobody's good there.
So,
but I mean, the last year he was there, he was playing through a sprained AC joint in his throwing shoulder.
People get hurt, and that's unfortunate. But if you're on the field, we expect you to perform. Nobody's going to give you a pass playing injured and not performing well. It's just the nature of the beast. Like I can't give him a pass on that. Nobody does, right?
Okay.
So once he got with people who understood his skill set and wanted to build around him, he was fine, which is honestly the issue with the NFL. There's a lot of guys that have the talent and they don't get a good opportunity to display that because they are around bad coaching.
Yeah. I mean, coaching does matter so much.
Who's our new guy that's Daniel Jones? He's the new Baker and Sam Darnold and Geno. For real. He's with
Darnold.
It's a 2-game sample size, but he's with the coach that clearly wants to build around his skill set. Find an offense that's comfortable with his eye.
Yeah, and you saw it with Geno too. Pete Carroll fit his eye, and that's a big reason why he kind of forced his way out of Seattle and wanted to go back down to Las Vegas, because him and Pete Carroll kind of had that fit together, and they fit well, that QB coach combo, and it resurrected Geno's career. So we'll get a break in here. Step aside. We'll be back. David Cunningham will be joining us from Tech Sideline right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
The Strayhorn Brothers present the Capital District Basketball Reunion, celebrating the legacy of the 1970s through 1979, featuring former girl and boy players, cheerleaders, coaches, refs, and you the fan. Armstrong, George Will, John F. Kennedy, Huguenot, John Marshall, Maggie L. Walker, and Thomas Jefferson Hyde will be represented at the Richmond Raceway Infield, Saturday, noon to 6 p.m., September 20th. Get your tickets at capitaldistrictbasketballreunion.com.
See website for details. Bills happen is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to billshappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
Bills Happen is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to billshappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to billshappen.com. That's billshappen.com. Billshappen.com.
Soccer in RVA is winding down with just a few games left this season. Make your plans now to catch the next Richmond Kickers home game, Wednesday, September 17th versus Portland Hearts of Pipe. Tune in to hear ESPN Richmond live as we count down to this nationally televised game on RVA Community Night at City Stadium. Then it's on to a Saturday night showdown, September 20th versus Charlotte Independence. Reserve your tickets today at richmondkickers.com. And don't forget, at Kickers games, dogs are always welcome.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season. Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vesby bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN, streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
Cooler fall temperatures are coming, and that means perfect weather for a round of golf at Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. Queenfield Golf Club, RVA's best kept secret.
This is Brennan Wells, the owner of Pro Weld Fabricators. We are a Richmond-based company. We are here for all of your welding projects.
Bradley Hicks here with Pro Weld Fabricators. We bring all the right tools to your doorstep. Emergency repair? No problem. We're available 24/7. For all commercial and residential needs, you need Pro Weld Fabricators. Learn more about Pro Weld Fabricators and check out some of our awesome projects at pro-weldfabricators.com.
Pro Weld Fabricators is your number one source for any of your commercial welding needs.
Stretch your sports IQ from sideline to sideline. Border to Border with Matt Josephs, where local meets nationwide news. Buckle up for analysis that crosses every line. No passport required.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday, September 16th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside, and we're going to head out to the phone lines as David Cunningham from Tech Sideline joining us this morning as we try to make sense of what's happening in Blacksburg. David, good morning. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to chat with us.
Good morning, Jack. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right. What was your reaction? Brent Pry gets fired after the abysmal ODU game. What was your reaction?
I think it needed to happen, man. This is something where you start 0-3 for the first time since 1987. Something had to be done. And it seemed like the players kind of quit on him. When you get outscored 34-0 in the second half of the Vanderbilt game and then 28-0 in the first half of the Old Dominion game, and it's not like we're talking about top 10 teams here. I get Vanderbilt's ranked and I get Vanderbilt's very good, but Old Dominion, they just kind of rolled over and let the Commodores and the Monarchs do whatever they wanted. And I think that's the sign that everything needs to come to an end. And as a result, Brent Pry's fired. Virginia Tech is on a football coaching search after 3 weeks into the season. It's a very strange place to be. It's very, very early. UCLA, of course, is in a very similar spot. But there's also a lot swirling around athletic director Whit Babcock, too. And that situation is more uncertain. But, yeah, certainly very interesting times in Blacksburg, to say the least.
I've heard reports that Whit Babcock will be kind of helping lead the search, but he isn't necessarily the final decision maker. Do you know if that's true? Do you know how the search is going to be executed?
Yeah, I heard that. I've been told that there's a search committee that is being put together or was put together, and Whit Babcock, I believe, is part of that search committee. I think he, as the athletic director, currently will have some say, but he's not the one making the final decision. His last two football hires at Virginia Tech, Justin Fuente and Brent Pry, have not fared well. And then you couple that with his last football hire at Cincinnati, Tommy Tumerville, also did not fare well. I think the Hokies are trying to take the decision out of his hands, regardless of whether or not he's here. Because I think there's a good chance that there's an athletic director change as well. But I think it seems like there are pieces moving behind the scenes as far as something along the lines of Tech might have add a general manager position to essentially report on the football program directly to the Board of Visitors and the university president, which is Tim Sands. Kind of somebody along the same lines in terms of power structure as the athletic director, but is specifically focused on football. But yes, I think Babcock will have a little bit of a say, but he's not the one making the final decision, as you can't let him make this final decision. But I think the Board of Visitors has assembled what sounds like a pretty good committee, and the people in charge are going to make the best decision there. And it's just weird because if you had a new athletic director in place, well, he would be able to tee off on the hire, and you'd be able to get started on that right away. Instead, you have to kind of outsource it.
How thin of the ice is Whit Babcock standing on right now?
I think it's very, very thin. I think you can kind of categorize him a little bit as a dead man walking. And I like Whit, but he, as a person, and he's done some good things for Virginia Tech. He's also done some bad things. And when you strike out on football coaching hires, that's your final straw. I think it's more so just a matter of time. I think, Jack, one of the biggest things is that there's not really anybody in the athletic department right now in terms of leadership positions that would be a good fit or would have the qualifications to be an interim athletic director. So I think it's more so Babcock kind of standing in until the situation kind of gets sorted out, and he's not really going to have any decision-making power. And people who saw that release that the Hokies put out on Sunday about Brent Pry getting fired, that was President Tim Sands that put that out. It wasn't with Babcock. So I think that kind of tells you where Babcock is right now. I think it's more so just a placeholder position for him, and they're working on the new coach, and I believe behind the scenes they're working on a new athletic director. And the other thing to keep in mind is September 30th, a date to know if you're curious about Virginia Tech, because the Board of Visitors is essentially ruling on Whit Babcock in his presentation he made to the BOV back in August about an extra $50 million. The tough part here is Babcock really the AD you want to give an extra $50 million to? Probably not. So, again, moving parts all over the place. It feels like Babcock is gone. It's just more so a matter of time. But at the same time, I think he can, in some ways, be beneficial to the coaching search. He is good at identifying what is truthful and what is not in a coaching search. He keeps things very, very close to the vest. So we're talking to Whit actually at noon today, and I'm very curious to see how it goes, because it's kind of an uncertain area right now. There's a lot up in the air, and I'm interested to know if he's going to speak on his job and what comes next for him, because there have been rumors that he might retire. It's a complicated situation right now, Jack.
It makes the coaching search so much more fun. David Cunningham from Tech Sideline joining us on this Tuesday morning. David, what's your list? Everyone has a list. Everyone has their couple of guys that they want to see the Hokies go after. Are you a guy that is looking at, G5 experience and success, or do you want them to try and, swing for the fences? I've seen some Virginia Tech accounts want to try and, go out and offer a $9-10 million contract to some coach. What do you want to see Virginia Tech do in this coaching search?
Well, you mentioned $9-10 million. I think the Board of Visitors ruling on how much more support athletics and specifically football gets, that's going to play a big role on who you can potentially go get in terms of a ceiling. But I think it has to be somebody who's a proven ball coach. They have to have success previously coaching. There's a long list of names that we at Tech Sideline published this morning. My colleagues, Andy Bitter and Chris Coleman, I came up with a list of 30 different coaches for them, including guys like John Gruden and Ned Ogeron, but also Bob Chesney, Alex Golef, right? A combination of a bunch of different names. Shane Beamer was on that list. And I encourage you to go give it a read, because they went down through 30 different names and basically gave their thoughts on here's why it would work, here's why it wouldn't work, here's my opinion. And I think you have to go probably a group of 5 route. If you could pluck a standing Power 5 coach, of course you would. I don't know if Tech has the funds for that, but it's probably going to be along those lines, a proven group of 5 coach. Maybe they have ties to the area in Virginia, but the bottom line is they have to know how to coach, and they have to know how to get the most out of their players. They have to win games. But that's what you're looking for. And I think when you look at the Fuente and Pry era side by side, people will talk about how Fuente didn't necessarily have the university backing. There wasn't university alignment there under Fuente. Well, Tech has alignment under Pry, and we'll see what happens with the AD situation. But Tech had alignment under Pry, and he just wasn't a very good coach. So the tough part here now is, in theory, the next coach comes in with good alignment and is a good coach, and things improve. Bottom line is things can't get much worse. You're 0-3. You got Wofford on Saturday, assuming that's a win, but you got 8 ACC games after that. This is not going to be a fun football season. However, the coaching search and potentially the AD search, man, they're going to be very fun to watch. It's going to be chaotic.
Am I crazy for looking at the rest of Virginia Tech's schedule and only seeing 3 wins, one of those being this Saturday against Wofford? Like, I only see them being able to win Wofford, the Cal game, and the Wake game.
Yeah, that's probably right. It'll be tough. It'll be interesting to see, just how this team looks under a interim head coach in Philip Montgomery. Of course, he was the Tulsa coach from 2015 to 2022. He coached the Golden Hurricane in that Independence Bowl back in 2015, Frank Beamer's last game against the Hokies. I'm interested to see, when we get a chance to talk to him later today, just kind of what his structure looks like. Are they going to do things differently? It sounds like they might shake up some personnel stuff. You already saw one player, Dante Lovett, reportedly entered the transfer portal, a cornerback. Guys can redshirt if they have a year because they haven't played in 4 games yet and potentially transfer. I'm not sure how common that'll be, but the roster, I think, will shake up a little bit over the next couple of weeks. And I think you'll get a good sense next week against NC State when the Hokies go down to Raleigh of how good Tech can actually be under this interim coaching staff. I don't disagree with you, Jack. I don't think there are very many games that are winnable on the schedule considering how we've seen Tech play these last couple of weeks, but maybe the interim staff does things differently. It's kind of TBD.
David Cunningham from Tech Sideline joining us this morning on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. David, a name being thrown around a lot, though, is Mike Vick when it comes to this coaching search. What are your thoughts on Michael Vick being the next coach of Virginia Tech? Do you hate it as much as I do?
Yeah. The tough part is he's only coached 3 games. I think him getting that job at Norfolk State was almost like a stepping stone job. Like, you got to get your foot in the door and start coaching somewhere. People talk about Deion, but Deion was a very good coach at Jackson State for a couple years. And he also showed the ability to recruit some really, really good talent. I'm not really sure that Michael Vick has shown that yet. I think it's just, if it was going to happen, it would have to happen in a handful of years. It's not the right time now, because this is arguably one of the most important times in Virginia Tech athletics in a long, long while. And you're not going to go out and get an inexperienced coach. And the other thing is, for both like a guy like him and a guy like Shane Beamer, another name being thrown around, Shane Beamer's in a great position, but both of those guys have ties to Virginia Tech. And this is a spot where you have to come in and you have to turn it around and you have to kind of win now. Like, there's a lot of pressure on you, whoever the next coach is at Virginia Tech, to win. And that's why you have to go out and find somebody who can win. Not that Shane couldn't, but that pressure between him and Michael Vick, if either one of those guys was going to come, one of them coached here, played here, is a son of a Hall of Famer and the legend around Blacksburg. And the other one, well, probably the greatest player in program history. That's a lot of pressure if you guys are a coach here, right? Something goes wrong and you have to fire one of those guys. Like, that's not really a situation you want to happen, especially with Vic, who is unproven as a head coach. And I just don't think Beamer would go for that opportunity considering what he's built South Carolina into. So, yeah, there are a lot of names out there. There are a bunch of group of 5 coaches I'm keeping an eye on. And the good thing, it's very early. We've only played 4 weeks of football. So we've got a long way to go in this coaching search. It's going to be mid-basketball season, I think, by the time we have a really good idea of who the coach might be.
Yeah, a lot of data still to intake. A name that could be at the top of the list, like a Bob Chesney or USF's coach Alex Golish, like, very well could kind of melt down here and then take themselves out of the running, essentially. So still a lot to happen between now and when the hire is made. David, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Always appreciate your insights.
Much appreciated, Jack. Talk to you soon, man.
Of course, there goes David Cunningham, managing editor at Tech Sideline. You can follow him on Twitter, The Real D Cunna. Always fantastic insights. He'll be there where Whit Babcock is speaking to the media today at noon. We should get a little bit more clarity on the future of Virginia Tech with that press conference. And he mentioned it. We'll get a lot more clarity on Virginia Tech at the end of this month, because they're going to vote on whether or not they're going to pretty much put $50+ million into the athletic budget, a lot of that earmarked towards football, to try and kind of restart the program. And that's what President Tim Sands said in his statement when they said that they were making that leadership change, is Whit Babcock and some Board of Visitors people are going to be working together to put together a plan on how they can reposition Virginia Tech to be near the top of the ACC. And if they're near the top of the ACC, you have a whole new world in terms of what coaches you can go out and get. Because right now, as it stands, Brent Pry was making about $4 million as the head coach at Virginia Tech. Of the 13 schools in the ACC that have the salaries publicly available, he ranked 11th out of the 13. That is not good for a program like Virginia Tech. And so you want that money to be put into the program, give you an opportunity to maybe Go out and find a coach at $8, $9, $10 million, and then the world is your oyster, and you can make so many new decisions. So appreciate David Cunningham from Tech Sideline joining us on this Tuesday morning. We'll be back with more Fitz the Bill to wrap up this Tuesday edition on 106.1 ESPN.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-378-5959. That's 800-378-5959. Once again, 800-378-5959.
It's Ray Ferguson with RVA Roofing Services. We do roofing, siding, gutters, and gutter guards. When it comes to protecting your home, experience matters. Your roof is one of the most important systems in your home. Don't let a small leak make you write a big check. Call RVA Roofing Services before it spreads. RVA Roofing Services is veteran-owned. We deliver quality workmanship, fair pricing, and free inspections. No job is too big or too small. RVA Roofing Services, the most dependable roofers in your area. Book your appointment anytime at rvaroofingservices.com.
This has been Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday, September 16th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside, and we're going to head on out to the phone lines, 804-327-0888. Bruce is on line one. Good morning, Bruce. How we doing?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. I'm just trying to give y'all the GMT with the week ending week 2 of the NFL. You ask, what does GMT stand for? Greg Dortch, Mekhi Becton, Tyler Warren report. Local talent. So I just want to let you know, starting with Greg Dortch, 1 reception, 11 yards, huge punt return on Sunday against Carolina. Of course, we watched Mekhi last night just tunnel holes for running back after running back and set up time for, it seemed like days, for the quarterback to sit in the pocket. Tyler Warren, 4 receptions, 79 yards as well. And there are so many other 804 talent that's now playing in the NFL. But these are 3 that I'm going to try to keep my eyes on when I can watch football on Sunday.
Yeah, Tyler Warren has made a huge impact immediately for the Colts. Daniel Jones loves him as a target, and as a rookie tight end, it's always tough to make a huge impression, but he's kind of following in the footsteps of Brock Bowers from a season ago. Tyler Warren's been fun to watch.
He has been. And because, I wish I would have saw him at Atlee. I saw him play hoop, but I didn't see him play football. But he was a baller on the hardwood. So it's good to see how good this kid is. They had told me, Russ had told me, oh man, you think his hoop game is nice. Wait till he's going to Penn State to play football. So I didn't know how good he was.
Hey, he was a quarterback at Atlee, right? And he just kind of he was a Swiss Army knife at Penn State, and he'll probably be doing the same with Indianapolis. He was a baller at Penn State, and yeah, you mentioned Greg Dortch, Mekhi Becton as well. Mekhi Becton, I'm glad he's kind of found his role now more as a guard rather than a tackle, and he seems to be thriving. Hopefully, injuries are a thing of the past for him, and he can kind of continue his career as an interior offensive lineman and find success that way.
And let me add to this, Fitz and Allen. When Mackay was playing at Howland Springs, little known fact, but when Harbaugh was coach at Michigan, he's been recruiting Mackay since high school, because he would come to some of the Howland Springs basketball games where Mackay was playing. He would be in the stands. So he's been after Mackay for years.
It's funny, Harbaugh, he was after Mackay for years. He was after Najee Harris for years. And now that he's an NFL head coach, he's just like, all right, well, I couldn't get him in college. Let me go after him and get him in the NFL. I'll give him a couple extra $1,000, and then my recruitment will finally be completed. It's kind of funny how Harbaugh did that.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Bruce. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. He's right. Mekhi Becton, having moved to the guard position, has been so beneficial for him. I don't know if he was too big. I don't know if it was just injuries caught up to him.
He wasn't anything other than just people wrote him off because he got hurt, and his injuries were just like unfortunate injuries. Big guy, get rolled on and things like that.
Do you think he could pop out to tackle now and be just as successful as he is?
Mekhi Becton is a supreme athlete. I think people look at his size and think that he can't move, but coming out of Howland Springs, he had the best feet I've ever seen of any tackle. When he went to Louisville, when he got drafted, I thought he was a phenomenal athlete. So yeah, he can move the tackle and play tackle without a doubt in my mind. I mean, I've always been a fan or a stan of Mekhi Becton. I got a sports group on Facebook. They'll tell you I fought for him when he was getting hurt with New York and saying all he needed was just a stroke of luck to be healthy, because when he was on the field, he was productive. People don't watch the offensive line. They get their stats and stuff and knowledge from the offensive line by highlights. Nobody actually watches the trenches. If you watch the trenches, the guy's one of the best. Like when it comes to athleticism and moving his feet, moving him to guard, the knock on him being guard is he's just really too tall. Like you get a Kyler Murray or somebody and he's 6'7" on the inside. That's a little different.
Wouldn't do well with Russell Wilson back there, Kyler back there, Caleb back there.
But my God, man, you see him run block? Yeah, no, he's a wall.
Yeah, he's very good. So, I think the move into guard also kind of helped him stay healthy in a weird way. Like he's just not asked to do as much, and he can just do what he does very well all the time.
This Chargers offensive line is actually missing another key cog, because Slater,
bro, it's a good offensive line. It's a good offensive line without Slater. It would be a great offensive line with Slater.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have when you can move Joe Alt to your left tackle.
Yeah, man, my AFC West pick of the Chargers looking real nice. I'm sorry. You clowned me for that one.
I did clown you. I'm not. You gotta get. I gotta get at least week 9 before I apologize on something like that.
That's fair, but I'll keep rubbing it in.
Yeah, you go ahead. You got the upper hand right now.
Yeah, my pick 2-0 in conference, which is always nice. 2-0 in division. The Kansas City Chiefs 0-2.
I never liked you, Patrick Mahomes. Just know that. Yikes. I never liked you. This is my punishment.
And the Broncos offense looking a little rough.
Yeah, no, they look a little rough. I think the Bo Nix up and down roller coaster is going to steady out at some point. Yeah, at some point.
Man, I still like the Raiders. I'm not allowed back on the bandwagon. CQ told me that.
Y'all can keep the Raiders.
I'm not allowed on the bandwagon, but I will watch from the sidelines, and I'll just be like, they're doing good. Gino, though, last night looked a little rough with those 3 interceptions, but hey, 2 of them bounced off his receiver's hands. Was he threading a really tight window? He was. But they bounced off his receiver's hands. I'll always go to bat for my boy Gino. I'll always go to bat for him.
I will always remember Gino as the guy that ran his mouth to the one guy that wanted.
And he got beat up in the Jets locker room. 106.1 ESPN Richmond has your chance to be part of a one-of-a-kind celebration. The 2025 Capital District Basketball Reunion, honoring the players, coaches, cheerleaders, and fans of the 1970s. It all happens this Saturday, September 20th, at the Richmond Raceway Complex infield. It's a day of tributes, memories, and reconnecting with the legends of Capital District basketball. We've got 5 pairs of tickets to give away. 5 pairs starting today, running through tomorrow. Join Bob Black later today during the Sports Huddle when he sits down with a special guest from the reunion, and he's going to give away the first pair then, and then we will keep the giveaways rolling. Keep it locked to 106.1 ESPN Richmond over the next 24 hours as we give away the remaining tickets throughout the day. Don't wait. Celebrate the history, the memories, and the family atmosphere of Capital District basketball. Listen, call in, and win. We are giving away 5 pairs of tickets to the 2025 Capital District Basketball Reunion, only on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports. You can keep it locked here because we're going to be having a loaded day of sports talk with Clinton and friends coming up next from 10 until noon. Then the Rich Eisen Show from 12 until 3. Then we're back live here from the Ortho Virginia studios in the capital of the Commonwealth with Border to Border with Matt Josephs. Then the Mashup Hour with Matt and Bob Black. And Bob takes you home with the Sports Huddle right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, we've got Talk of the Town. Charles Scott Jr., the quarterback at Huguenot, he threw for over 400 yards in their win on Thursday on only 14 completions. So over 30 yards per completion. That is insane. Insane. So, of course, he's our Talk of the Town Student Athlete of the Week. We'll catch up with him, the Huguenot quarterback, as well as his head coach, and we'll be airing that tomorrow in hour number 2 at 9 a.m. You do not want to miss it. We also catch up with Richmond football head coach Russ Huesman tomorrow, and we'll be out at Glen Allen at Thomas Dale Friday night for our Talk of the Town Game of the Week. Swing by, say hi. That should be a fantastic game. Keep it locked right here. Fitz the Bill.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia.